Greetings, this is another Classics but Not Masterpieces episode, and this time we are featuring the jazz fusion album Rocks, Pebbles, and Sand by Stanley Clarke. Here we cover how this album could have been even greater, even though it's a classic. It's 1980, and Stanley Clarke has a new fusion band with new music. Rocks, Pebbles, and Sand is a jazz fusion album that features Stanley Clarke on bass, Icarus Johnson on guitar, Simon Phillips on drums, and Steve Bach on keyboards. The musicians were also a part of Clarke's band the previous year in 1979 that involved more horns. Rocks, Pebbles, and Sand is the seventh album by fusion bassist Stanley Clarke. I like the idea of inputting a motorcycle sound into an album. The album starts off with Danger Zone, then All Hell Breaks Loose, then the title track Rocks, Pebbles, and Sand, which is my favorite, then Underestimation. Then side 2 has You Me Together, We Supply, and closing with The Story of a Man and a Woman, which contains 3 parts. What would have made this album a masterpiece involves looking back at the previous year and selecting certain tracks for this album while eliminating some of the less fusion-style tracks. The previous year, Stanley Clarke released the album I Wanna Play For You in 1979 that was partly live and partly studio. The songs that were in the studio, All About, Stormy Weather, and Christopher Ivanhoe, were all tracks that I would have carried over to Rocks, Pebbles, and Sand. Also, Clarke was playing a new composition, Pearls in the Sun, with the band in 1980, so I don't know why it wasn't released with the album. I feel that the live album should have been completely live, covering Clarke's music of the 70s, leaving the studio material for this new album. The masterpiece would have included eliminating the tracks Underestimation, You Me Together, and We Supply, while including Pearls in the Sun, All About, Stormy Weather, and Christopher Ivanhoe, while keeping All Hell Broke Loose, the title track, and the final track. Clarke finally released the composition Pearls in the Sun under the name Lil Victa on the bass trio album Thunder, which is another amazing concept and album released back in 2008 with Marcus Miller and Victor Wooten. As far as the music goes, Rocks, Pebbles, and Sand showcases Clarke's bass guitar playing in fine form. Clarke shows once again he can produce amazing albums as a bass player. Icarus Johnson is a great offset to Stanley's playing. Simon Phillips keeps the time with his high energy, and keyboardist Steve Bach fills in the spaces with his harmonic textures. Rocks, Pebbles, and Sand is a classic and holds up to this day. This is Flame Sky. See you on the next one.